Welcome to Be a Blessing with Mitch and Wendy, a no-holds-barred guide to being the best you can be so that you can be a blessing to your family, friends, and everyone you meet. Be a Blessing is about life, from parenting to building a business and building yourself. Mitch and Wendy will cover it all. So buckle up and prepare to get uncomfortable, because growth only comes from the other side of a challenge.
Yo, 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 yo! Welcome to Be a Blessing with Mitch and Wendy. I am Mitch, not to be confused with the beautiful Wendy. Mm-hmm. And today we are doing episode 9, Frank. Last episode, I said we were doing episode 7. Frank was shooting up the 8 because I screwed up. Wendy waited a minute to correct me, which is not normal. Normally she corrects me immediately. So I was highly disappointed in that. So we have 2 special guests today.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Yeah, so these are our friends. Wendy gets mad sometimes because they were originally her friends and I became friends with them. And sometimes I'll use the phrase, your friends, and she's like, what do you mean your friends? They're your friends too. So these are our friends. And I'm going to let Wendy do the intro for our friends.
Today's a super special day for me. I get to have the beautiful JC of balancing.fit.
Yes. So
JC. JB.
All right. So to kind of let everybody know, unless you have been living under a rock, who are you? And tell us about yourself.
Okay, so well, first of all, we're both Jamie, but I'm Jamie Chamberlain. I'm a nurse anesthetist, work at the surgery center here locally. Married for 21 years. We just celebrated our anniversary. Mom, 2 kids that are just doing wonderful. So very just happy, normal person.
Both kids, both in medical school.
Both in medical. Well, one is finishing up his fellowship, so he's about to move to Texas to be a radiologist, and one just finishing her first year of med school. So very proud. Proud mom.
Yeah, I bet.
And I'm on the other end of the spectrum. So also full-time nurse anesthetist. I have an almost 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. So we're losing teeth right now and potty training. It's not.
Are you losing teeth? Or who's losing teeth?
No. They're all there. So, and just, we just try to stay active and work full-time and raise children. That's
just
what I'm doing. Yeah.
Normal people, normal moms.
So I'm going to say this. Wendy got to know those folks at the hospital. Her previous career, she always corrects me. She is still currently an active nurse or licensed nurse. But when she was still, I guess, practicing her license, she became great friends with both the Jamies. And I had the honor to then at some point get introduced to them slowly. Wendy slowly introduces me to people.
I had to wean them in.
Yeah, because I can be extra. And once we got to know them, they were really cool. And found out that they have this huge social media following. Here, I was like, it's kind of like here locally to have folks that are doing something as cool as they're doing online, making a huge difference in people's lives because they are huge fitness advocates, as you can tell. They do a great job. So balancing.fit. Yes. Right. And I'm going to be honest, because I'm an idiot. When I first tried to find you guys, I didn't know how to spell that. Like, well, how do you? Like, I was searching all kinds of stuff. Like, how the hell do you find these people? Where are they at? Is it a secret club?
So we are on Instagram, and that's how we started as kind of a secret thing, a fitness account. We were just trying to motivate ourselves to get healthy, to get fit, to find an avenue to release energy, amongst our normal workday. So we created this account and started just looking or connecting with people from all over the world, basically.
And we recorded our videos. So so Instagram, you could only do 15-second videos. So they were all in fast forward.
And this was back when? What year?
Oh, this is 15.
This is in 2000. Yeah, the end of 15, beginning of 16.
Okay.
And so we started working out together, and then we created. Well, actually, we started with 2 different Instagram accounts. And it was getting busy, and that's one thing with it. If you want to be active on social media, it takes time. It takes time away from your family. It takes time,
intentional.
If you work and things like that. So we decided that the best thing for us, since we always worked out together, would be to create an account together that we could both manage. And so that's how balancing.fit came to existence.
So that's, and Frank's going to put this on the screen because he's a genius, but it's balancing, I-N-G.
Yes.
I just thought it was balance and
dot
fit.
fit.
Right.
So I was doing like balance with the N, fit. I was messing it all up.
Balancing.fit.
Frank got that up.
And basically the idea is that like everyone struggles to try to find to fit fitness in their life, and it's important to us. So we wanted to show women and mothers and people that work full time, like, okay, this is it can be done, basically.
Right.
You know,
I mean, we wake up at 3:45 in the morning.
We're free.
Which is insane.
Yes.
But
The 3
that
o'clock
was
club.
what it took for us to have time to fit this in before work. If you have a 6:30 case in the morning,
Right.
I mean, you're leaving your house about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning.
the average person does not work in the OR or in surgery. Wendy, you were a pre-op nurse for how many years? And I mean, you have to be there insanely early. So we have to get up insanely early because at the end of the day, you have baseball games, you have soccer practice, you have gymnastics. Everything is about everyone else. So how do you fit that time in for yourself, basically? And that's how we do it. So.
Exactly. Being very intentional with the minutes you have in a day about fitting it in and making yourself a priority for X amount of time.
Right. And that's our number one question. What time do you go to bed?
Yeah.
What time do you go to bed?
What time do you go to bed?
Well, last
Do y'all beat
night.
us because we go to bed
Last
extremely
night it was like at 7:45, and
No,
I was
we're-
like, oh, it was. I was feeling like I need to tell no one this, but now I'm.
We're telling all 19 viewers. 7:30,
But,
baby.
I mean, my goal is to be asleep before 9. If I'm asleep before 9, then when my alarm goes off, it doesn't hurt as bad.
And I think the important thing to emphasize here is what are you sacrificing at night so that you can get up and make those
I'm
workouts in the
sacrificing a TV
Okay.
show, a 30, 45 minute, hour long TV show in the evening that I can DVR and I can watch it on the weekend. So
that
I'm
you-
not really missing it.
that you can get up 1 hour earlier.
Right.
And that's the point that we try to make.
To give to myself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To me.
Exactly.
I'm going to apologize because Wendy has all kinds of great prescribed questions, and I'm just going to start firing things that my brain works. I got some Red Bull
for
in
it.
me, but I want to let you get one of these questions in before I start.
And I was saying that to our guests, it was important because I speak to women all over the place, from work to, I mean, I'll call an insurance company during a day and I'm talking to a customer service rep about 10% about the customer, 90% about how are you doing? And we start talking about stuff, and it always comes down to, when I'm talking about women, wherever I am, about, man, I just wish I had more time for myself. I wish I was in better health. I wish that I could do the things I want to do, and this is the purpose of you on this podcast, to show all the mamas, all the grandmamas, everybody, whether you have kids or not, or whatever you're doing in life, it is possible.
Right.
But it has to become a priority.
Right.
You yourself have to become a priority.
It's not always easy.
Exactly.
It's not ever going to always be easy. There's some days that we meet in the mornings and we're both in a great mood. And it's just great. There are some days that one or both of us are not in a great mood. But you know what? We get in there, we get it done. We may not speak very much, or may not be happy, but we get it in there, we get a good workout.
I think
in,
that's one of the
and
number one
we just
tips
get it done.
is that you have to kind of schedule it in. And you don't have to always have like these big expectations. If you're doing a 20-minute walk, or you know what I mean, on the treadmill watching your favorite show, try to combine these activities with things that you like to do.
Well, one question, I'll let Mitch go in. Would you say in the mornings, doing what you're doing, is it motivation, is it self-discipline, or is it habit? Or is it all three?
At this point, it's habit most days. But I will say that the days that I work out, I go to work, I'm in a better mood. I feel better. I get more water in. Like it cascades to the entire day being better because I got up and spent that time on myself.
You make better food choices. I mean, it's
Right.
just like, it's not hard to pass up the donut. Or if you want the donut, that's fine. But most of the time I'm like, I just crushed this workout. And you know what I mean? Like I have those endorphins, so I don't necessarily need to go for that donut.
I will say even more than even any of that is my mood. I feel better. You know what I mean? When you feel better, that's goes to everybody else around you. It kind of, just domino effect.
Better energy.
Right.
Yeah. So here's what I think everybody's thinking. Because this is what I think, because I see all sorts of fitness ads on Facebook and Instagram, and it's these dudes, you know, doing the little bands, and they're already, like, this dude was freaking ripped before he started the bands.
Right.
This is bullshit, all right?
It's not the shake weight.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, the shake weight got him the 48-inch biceps. So here's what I want to hear, all right? I want to hear the nitty gritty, like, before you, like, so obviously your origin story is at some point y'all made a point to start working out separately, was doing it via Instagram. It was too busy, so y'all combined. Like, what was it that said, hey, I need to get my ass in the gym? Like, were you like the fattest you'd ever been? What was it? Were you, like, I want to hear the shit.
Okay, so for me, it was a little different. Like, I did a little bit of working out. I was never, like, I would say fit, but I was never, like, completely out of shape either. You know, just kind of stayed in that little mid-level where I didn't feel great, I didn't feel bad, I was just existing, you know. But for me, it was when my daughter left to go to college. So all of a sudden, I was an, adult woman who, for the first time in my entire life that I could remember, was somewhat alone. You know what I mean? My husband, was working out of town a lot. My daughter was gone. So I was looking for who is Jamie? Like, who am I? Like, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? And that's where I found, that connection with other people, whether they're in the same place that I am or not. It just gave me something else to focus on, something else to think about, and something that made me feel good about who I am.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's me.
Yeah, and I've always kind of been active, but she and I kind of started doing the elliptical in the mornings. So we were cardio bunnies. Okay, we have to restrict our calories. We have to try to burn as many calories. And she comes in the gym. We do that for a year, and then she tells me about this BBG. This bikini body guide. Let's do some strength training. Let's just 12 weeks. We'll try it out. And that's where we found Kelsey. Kelsey Wells was doing the same thing. She was doing the bikini body guide, and we're like, oh my God, this chick just had a baby. Look at her. She's amazing. And what do we do that? We did BBG for
several years.
Almost 3 years. And then Kelsey ended up joining with Sweat and doing a strength training program, and we jumped on that.
So Frank's going to put on the screen Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey Wells.
Kelsey Wells. If y'all are interested in kind of checking out some of that stuff too.
Yeah, she's basically the trainer that we've been following for several years, and we do her workouts probably 99% of the time, and still love them.
It's just a great mix of some high intensity mixed in with strength training. But it's not so taxing that you can't do it every day.
Are these workouts anybody can do, or they have to be at a certain level?
She has all different levels.
Well, they have different levels, and the Sweat app is what we follow. And literally, when I tell you there's something, they're constantly growing. There is something for everyone. Whether you want to do yoga, bar, Pilates, or whether you want to do bodybuilding, or whether you are just recovering from an injury and you want to do low impact, there's literally something for everyone on there.
So when we started, these workouts were on a PDF, and they started an app. We've been doing their app since it came out, and now they have
that came out in 2016.
So they're almost to 1 million followers, I think, with their main account, and then all these trainers are just incredible. Yeah. Every branch of social media, if you're in bodybuilding or if you want to do bar, they've got the best of the best. So
when you say bar, what's bar?
Oh, it's a type of workout where you do micro movements.
It's very lightweight, just toning.
Is it more of the ballerina stuff?
Kinda,
holding the postures?
And it's something that looks very innocent until you start doing it, and you're doing these little pulse movements, and you're totally fatiguing your muscles. So it's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
And Brittany Williams is the trainer for that, and she's incredibly down to earth. She'll tell you I'm not your typical ballerina type, So they've done a really good job with choosing their trainers.
So when you started this, we introed the show saying that we have our friends that have a huge following on social media. So tell me how that how did that transform Balance and Fit on social for you guys? Just kind of, because it kind of exploded. It really picked up some speed in no time.
Well, it's one of those things that I still don't even really process. The number of followers we have or whatever, that's really never been a big deal for us. we went from having, what your mom said she remembers when you had 50
you
followers.
had 50 followers.
And that was the thing is
We're at
I don't
24 followers.
know how it grew, honestly, other than connecting with, these big name people like from fitness trainers from the Sweat app and things like that.
Kayla
and then they would reshare your information, and then that would just expand, the people who could follow you. But it's always been more about like good, solid connections to us, and we hear more than anything from people like, you guys are so real, like, and that's just something we've always questioned, like, when people say, "Oh, you're so real," like, what does that mean? Like,
I mean,
what's your definition of real? What do you mean by this?
But that's what we try to portray, like your best friend. Like, that's what we are. Like, and I just did this workout. I'll text Jamie like, "Hey, I just did Kelsey's abs from this week. It is great. You've got to go do it," or whatever. And that's the same thing we tell to our 50,000 followers is, this workout's really great. You really need to go check it out, or whatever. We just try to treat our page like
social media. You can manipulate angles with photos. You can make your waist look this big and your behind look this big. And the thing is, when you're shooting video, right? Exactly.
Right? It's all about the angle.
Suck it in. Put the camera lower and go up. But the thing with
Zoom in, Frank.
when you are recording your videos every morning like us and sharing it,
You can't.
you're not
hiding
hide
that,
this.
right.
You're bloated. You know what I mean? Your other things, menstrual cycle. I don't know. You don't want to hear about that, but seriously, like, you can't hide it with when you video and every single day.
And that was kind of a segue for me to say that honestly, at this point for you guys, you're not selling anything. No. You have nothing. You literally have nothing to gain from your social media for anything except what you're selling is your influence,
right?
Your motivation.
Well, Jamie sees her daughter in med school who is now working out, and
she works out every morning before she goes to class, or she will get up early to get a good workout in before she has an exam, because it just helps to start your day right. It helps get your mind right, and things that's something I would have thought she would have never done. I didn't push her to this. I didn't do the things. She just watched the influence on my life, I think, and now has adopted it.
You've probably seen how it's transformed your life.
Not only that, but just unconsciously, like you see these things in the mornings, first thing, you see somebody working out, you think about that, like I don't think you realize the effect that social media has on you and the people that influence you. Which
can be so negative. Social media can be so negative for so many people. And one of our biggest things is, if something doesn't make you feel good, if you're looking at somebody every day and they make you feel bad about yourself, then you need to unfollow that person.
Definitely.
Period.
Definitely.
Period. Like, you need to search for people who bring joy to your life, who add value to your life.
All right, or motivate you.
And that's what we try to do. And if somebody doesn't like what we do, like, that's no hard feelings for us.
Unfollow me.
Just please, move on.
There's no reason to write me a dissertation of a comment about you're trying to dissect my body type.
You will never find us, we call it trolling, you will never find us making a negative comment to anyone, because it's unnecessary. If you don't like what they do, you just don't follow them. But
it's so easy.
You want to surround yourself with people who make you feel good, who give you value to your life, and we try to do that to the people we interact with.
And so you had brought something up earlier. I was just having a private conversation that is so impactful, because you have a daughter and she's 6. She just turned 6. And she's watching you every single day.
She is.
Work out. And that's going to be a big impact for her. I mean, being a true influencer is being an influencer within the walls of your home, to teach her how to take care of your body, how to love your body and respect it.
And that's the biggest thing, is how I talk to myself, instead of like, oh, I can't wear the bikini, I'm too, saying I'm too fat or things like that. Like, I'm working on pull-ups right now, and I've been working on this for like 7 months. And she gets on the band, and she sees me trying. She was on the band the other day, and I'm like, okay, just try 5. Did 5, assisted, and I said, okay, you can get down. And she goes, no, I want to get 5 more. Like, I want to go for 5 more. So that makes me so proud, just that I can see that she's developing in that way, as versus me looking in the mirror constantly, putting myself down and picking myself apart. You know, like, and that's what we do as women. We pick ourselves apart.
And you mirror the people you look up to,
Yeah.
whether that's good or bad.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do.
Last week we talked a lot about marriage and kids and the influence you have as parents. And we didn't really talk about fitness, but we talked about the fact that if you have kids, you're a leader and or a teacher or both, whether you like it or not, and you're teaching them something. And unfortunately, I think a lot of folks are doing that negative thing that you talked about, teaching their children to criticize themselves, teaching them to not love who they are, but even more beyond that, just how they're eating. It's crazy how we're teaching our kids how to eat so improperly based upon our own habits. Not that we're perfect, obviously.
No.
Y'all probably do a much better job than we do. But we've been very intentional, and we've talked a lot about this. We're intentional in conversations. We're intentional in teaching our kids on what they can and can't eat. It's not that you can't have the quote-unquote bad things or the snacks. It's just we're going to limit the amount of times we eat that in a day.
Right, and we try not to label things good or bad. You know, there are definitely things that they enjoy that are not as nutrient dense. Donuts, pizza, but like you said, that's every once in a while. We try to keep it every once in a while. You know, drive-through chicken nuggets. I'm not gonna lie, we eat it. I take it home. I try to open up a can of carrots with it. You know, it's hard because we're so busy, and nutrition is something that I think so many people struggle so much with. So that's a whole different.
That's a whole different topic, you know.
Yeah, right.
Right, but that's like 60% of it. You know, working out's probably, you know, a good portion, but I think probably eating is, I would
huge.
say, is probably the bigger percentage.
It's way
of a
more
lot of
important,
things.
for sure.
So we have like 9 minutes left. I think from here on out, in my opinion, I don't know what else you have here, baby. We didn't talk about this, but I think for whoever's watching, I think it's important that you guys have obviously got something figured out. Like you do, you've made a commitment to this. You're doing it daily. You have a following because of it. You're inspiring people. I've seen you, and you made a comment earlier. People say you're real, and I can attest that they are very real. We've had some very real fun moments over the years hanging out.
We're not perfect by any means.
But it's cool because I've seen where there's been times we're at a house party or a get together, and they're one's maybe eating really well and the other's not, and vice versa. And I'm always eating poorly and drinking beer and kind of taunting them about it. But it's always fun that we see you in the real world. Maybe your social media followers only see what and you put all of it on there.
We try to share as much.
But you guys are really, really real, so we can appreciate that. But how can we tell the folks, and even Wendy and I, like if we said, listen, just give us in the last 8 minutes a plan. What can you tell these people? Like if they're sitting there, they feel hopeless, they're like, I hate the way that I look or how I feel. How can I begin this process of going to where I am to where Balance and Fit, JC and JB are today?
I would say for the first thing you need to do is for the next 5 days, track everything you eat. Because a lot of people will say that I don't overeat. I really don't eat that much. Like I'm not real sure. Write down everything you eat because you're probably eating more calories. Either that or you're eating way less than you should be, which can be just as bad. So I would say for one solid week, track everything that you eat.
MyFitnessPal is a free app you can use for that.
So then from there,
number one, track your food. MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal.
And that way, and go back and review so on an average day, so do it for a whole week. On an average day, this is how many calories I'm eating. So that's where I would start, is look at that. Like, do I need to cut my calories? Do I need to maintain them where they're at? Or do I need to increase my calories? And there are so many references out there as to things like that. You can literally Google and find some good sources out there to look as to where you're at on that, because nutrition, like you said, is one of the hardest things. So once you figure kind of where you need to be with that, then worry about adding activity, because if you can get the nutrition thing down, you can add the activity in and start with 20 minutes a day.
Walking.
20 minutes a day. Walk, jog,
keep track of your steps if
ride
you want
a bike,
to.
Pick up, Google like a 20-minute weight workout, but start with 20 minutes 3 days a week, and then just grow from there. If you can get 20 minutes 3 days a week and do that for 6 weeks solid, then you can look at adding more to it.
And I
But
definitely-
the thing is make goals attainable.
I think social media, there are some benefits to being in a community with social media, as far as, I mean, you can have an account and it can be anonymous. You can keep it completely private, post things, but still interact with other people and follow people that inspire you, that motivate you. You wake up every morning and you see somebody working out, you're more likely to get up and kind of do something. And it just, what do they say? The 5 people that you're around the most are the people that influence you. So pick 5 people that really influence you in the way that you want to live, or in the direction that you want to go. And don't hate yourself. Like that's another thing. Like saying that you hate yourself and looking in the mirror and putting yourself down, that's not going to get you anywhere. You know?
No, it just deepens.
You're going to just eat more donuts because you're so miserable.
Well, and another thing I want to add that for the females, because this is more female driven, the community that we have around us, right after this airs, there's going to be a sweat challenge starting. If you've ever wanted to start something fitness wise, starting with a mass of thousands of people at the same time,
Yes.
is so good, because the just that drive behind you is so much better. So on June 21st, I think is the date. It's a Monday.
Okay. So that's going to be the week after. This will air a week from today, roughly.
Right. So there's a new challenge starting. So if you look up the Sweat app, it's called, their Instagram is @sweat.
Yeah.
But that app will literally, you can find something on there that you can do. And so many people are going to be doing the same
Hundreds,
thing.
thousands of
and
girls
it will motivate you. If you just
crushing
put
the
a little
workouts.
bit of effort
Yeah.
into it, you will get that
All
back
different body
tenfold.
types, all different ethnicities.
Is it even safe for people who are fresh post pregnancies?
Yes. Their beginner, like Kelsey just put out a beginner program. It's 2 days a week strength training for 20 minutes. Because the idea is, and I think a lot of this is based on James Clear, Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read that book, but you start small. Like maybe you're just putting on your shoes every day at the same time. And then you maybe put your shoes on and you go for a little 5-minute walk. And then you build up that habit consistently and you expand on it.
So we're saying track our food. You can find resources like, what was the thing? The app?
MyFitnessPal.
MyFitnessPal.
Free.
Definitely want to check out @sweat.
Yep.
@sweat. And those have detailed workouts for them to follow.
Like
do. They're
literally
strength
you
training.
hit start and tells you exactly what to
and
do.
it'll be a video that actually shows you the correct
Everything.
form,
detailed
all of it.
explanation.
Is there any
Yes.
cost associated with that?
Yes. So
It just went on sale.
It just depends on if you buy 1 year, it ends up coming out to $10 a month. So it's like $120 for a solid year. If you want to say you don't want to commit to a full year, you're going to pay twice as much, but you can pay. It's $19.99 a month. So $20 a month.
They were running a sale for $79.
So $20 a month are, $120 for an entire year. So it's worth that too. Most gym memberships are way more than that, and you can do so many of those things at home. So
We got about 2.5
and we don't
minutes.
benefit from this at all. Like literally, it's just what we use. So I want
The
to
whole
say that.
purpose of this is why we do this. Be a blessing is to bless you,
Right.
to try
Yeah.
to help
This
you.
is no benefit to us.
Yeah.
It's just something we've used for years and love. So
I would say this, as painful as it is, ladies, that before you start something, take photos of yourself. Take them, not like wearing all your garb, like get down to where you're just covering the stuff, and take photos, front, back, and sides. That's the way to compare yourself.
And be confident.
And be confident. Just take them, store them away where nobody can see them, hide them in the Pentagon, and bring
because
them
there
out.
will be a time when the scale doesn't move, but your body's still changing, and that's the best way when you compare photos. When your scale's not changing, but you're putting in the work, then put those photos side by side, and you're going to see.
Yeah,
some
and
results.
ultimately, putting in the work, it's not the end, the end result. It's what you do every day.
It's the
that makes you
journey.
feel
It's
better.
the
Right,
process.
right.
You're going to feel better way before you feel like you look better. You're going to feel better.
Like the
immediately,
greatest
so.
leader, Maxwell says, is consistency compounds. It does. Consistency compounds. So we got just a little bit left. So I wanna finish up with this. And there's a question I like to ask all the guests because it's such a heavy question. But I'm gonna ask each of you, if there were one thing that you can do that success was 100% guaranteed and you could not fail, what would it be?
Well, we've talked about this so many times, and I know you said that we kind of feel the same way about this.
Yes.
I think we have always like really, really wanted to develop athletic wear, athleisure line of clothing. Something we're really passionate about, and when you find something you like, we really are into
Right,
that
and
kind of thing,
I think we know we buy different pieces from different companies, and there's just something about waking up in the morning and you put on that piece of
makes you
clothing, and
feel
you're like,
good.
I am just gonna rock this
Yeah.
this day. You
We're
know what I
gonna
mean?
Conquer the world today, But anyway, we would like to develop a line that would help everybody feel that way. Something that's. But I mean, we know nothing about any of that.
J Square Athletic Wear.
J
J Square Athletic Wear.
Wear.
Man, look, I need to get on the marketing and the branding
Okay.
team. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm already
So
rolling,
anyway,
baby.
that would be it, I think.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So that's combined answer from each of you?
Definitely. I mean, we're like on the same wavelength here. We often, like, people laugh at us because a lot of times I'll show up at our house and not planned. We will have the same thing on.
Like literally matching outfits, and we almost feel like we feel the need to say, like, we did not plan this.
And it's not like we don't
it happens
have
a lot.
It's not
a lot to choose from.
I know, right? So it's like this random sports bra. I'm like, I haven't worn this in 6 months, and she'll have it on. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's weird.
Well, look, thanks so much for coming out and hanging with us today. We get to do this all the time, but thanks for doing it on camera for the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Here's what I hear, and then I'm gonna let Wendy close up. Here's what I hear, and it's nothing new. It's the old adage of this stuff takes work, and you're gonna have to be disciplined and committed to it. And look, you're gonna have to make investments, like the $120 for the app for the sweat workouts. It's worth it. If it means something to you, it should cost you something. Sometimes it may cost you time. Sometimes it's gonna cost you money. You need to invest in yourself. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Make a commitment, track your food, get active at least 20 minutes a day, and invest in a program that's going to help you be better. And follow balancing.fit.
Or whoever inspires you.
All right.
But they will, but here's the thing, what's great about these guys is they're going to introduce you to a lot of other people who are out in the same space. So follow these guys. If you feel like this has been beneficial for you, please share the podcast. And before we end, I want to ask Wendy, what's one thing of value you could leave our guests before we end today?
Remember, everything that you're doing for yourself, you've got to change your perspective. These are not sacrifices. Cutting out the sweets, cutting out the sodas, cutting out the alcohol, these are not sacrifices. They were investments in yourself. These are investments. So think about it that way, and then I promise you, you'll be worth it. The dividends will compile.
That's right. Thanks for checking us out. Producer Frank, thanks for putting everything on the screen. Share with your friends, mitchandwendy.com. See us on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you to JB and JC, and be looking for J Squared Athletic Wear. Hey, everybody.
Do the voiceover.
J Square.
And
Athletic wear.
Mitch's fitness account, right?
Do I have a fitness account?
No.
No.
But you're going to start one, right?
Yeah, I'll start one for all the guys.
If you're on Peloton, follow Mitch Oley.
Mitch Oley, I'll kick your ass. Let's go. All right. Be a blessing, everybody.